Alright folks, let's talk about the biggest rap beef in recent history. Yep, I'm talking about none other than Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. A feud so personal, so messy, and so brutal that the entire hip-hop world had to stop and watch it happen. And the craziest part? These two used to be cool with each other once, like actually friends. So how did two of the biggest names in rap, once friends, end up in this war? Well, that's what we're breaking down today. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll see why this isn't just about rap. It's about egos and legacies. Now let's take a quick trip down memory lane. It's 2011. Drake is blowing up. He already has a #1 album under his belt. And in that same year, he dropped his album, Take Care. And guess who got a feature on the Buried Alive interlude? That's right, Kendrick Lamar. Now you guys have got to remember that at this point, Kendrick is just starting to gain recognition. And Drake was actually giving him a platform. Not only that, but Drake even invited him to be an opener on his Club Paradise tour in 2012, along with A$AP Rocky. I mean, this was Drake saying, I believe in this guy, and I got his back. And then fast forward a little, and they're featuring on songs together like A$AP Rocky's Fucking Problems and Kendrick's Poetic Justice. Everything seemed chill. I mean, they weren't besties, but you could see that there was mutual respect. But then in 2013, everything changed. And it all started with one verse, and it came in Big Sean's song called Control. And let's just say that Kendrick did not hold back. I mean, he called out nearly every major rapper, including Drake. He rapped about wanting to murder his peers lyrically, and while most rappers didn't pay too much attention to it, Drake took it personally. Drake couldn't believe that Lamar would dice him like that publicly. In interviews, he tried to downplay it by saying that he expected better from Kendrick, or that Kendrick couldn't murder him at all on any platform. But everyone knew the truth. From that moment on, their so-called friendship was on a timer. But Kendrick wasn't done. Later that year, he took another shot at Drake at the BET Awards. In his freestyle lyrics, he said, "Nothing's been the same since they dropped Control," and tucked a sensitive rapper back in his pajama clothes. Ouch, that's gotta hurt, right? Now, after this, their beef kinda died down a little. I mean, the rappers still took small shots at each other. In the song King Kunta, Lamar made a dig about rappers who use ghostwriters, which everyone knew was about Drake. But all in all, there was nothing to catch anyone's attention. That is, until 2023. This is the year when J. Cole and Drake dropped First Person Shooter. In it, Cole referred to himself, Drake, and Kendrick as the Big Three. But Kendrick? Yeah, he wasn't feeling that at all. Enter Like That, a track featuring Kendrick on Metro Boomin and Future's album. Now, there were no hidden shots this time. Kendrick straight up called out Drake and Cole and dismissed the whole Big Three idea and made it clear that he didn't see either of them as his equal. The internet exploded. Drake and Cole had to respond because in hip-hop, silence is a weakness. And that's exactly when all hell broke loose, and the fans loved every second of it. Drake striked first with push-ups, and this one was a clear mockery of Kendrick's height. I mean, it came out with cover art featuring a size 7 shoe sticker. The message was clear. Kendrick is small both physically and metaphorically. Then came tailor-made freestyle where Drake took a huge risk. He included AI-generated voices of Tupac and Snoop Dogg to make his attack even more powerful. And you really don't need me to tell you that it backfired big time. In a couple of hours, Tupac's estate threatened legal action, and Drake had to remove the song from all streaming services. Everyone in the industry labeled Drake as being disrespectful and desperate. And this gave Kendrick the perfect chance to put out his diss track. He came out with Euphoria, and he destroyed Drake's legacy bar by bar. I hate the way that you dress. I hate the way that you sneak dissin'. Then 616 in LA landed, and the entire story changed. I mean, Kendrick didn't just respond. Nope. He exposed a deeper betrayal. He suggested that Drake's own OVO camp had been leaking information to him. Have you ever thought that OVO was working for me? The line was out of this world. It planted doubt not just in Drake's mind, but in everyone watching around the world. If Kendrick really had inside information, then what else did he know? Drake had no time to think. He rushed out with Family Matters, but instead of addressing the accusations head-on, he rapped about something different. To save his reputation, he shifted the focus to Kendrick's personal life and accused him of hypocrisy for preaching black empowerment while dating a mixed woman. Not only that, but he also talked about how Lamar was abusing his fiancée and how his fiancée cheated on him. It was a super desperate move. And if Drake had backed it up with some kind of evidence, then it would have worked in his favor, but he had nothing. And what came next wasn't just another diss track. It was a direct hit to Drake's public image. Kendrick called Drake a fraud, a deadbeat, and even hinted at another secret child. Whoa, I mean, this point wasn't even about who raps better. It was about survival. And Kendrick had made sure Drake was fighting for his career. Now, Drake responded with The Heart Part 6, but the damage was already done. The fan base had shifted and there was no coming back. And just when people thought it was over, Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, and it destroyed Drake. Now, this wasn't just a diss track. This was a cultural moment. Every club, every party, and every car was blasting this song. And the worst part for Drake? The allegations that were talked about. Say, Drake, I hear you like 'em young. You better not ever go to Cell Block 1. Kendrick straight up implied something nasty. And just like that, the narrative shifted. People stopped debating songs and started asking if this allegation was true. And guess what? In the court of public opinion, Kendrick had already won. Now, Drake had no control over the media anymore, and he knew it. Not Like Us was humiliating for him as an artist, but the people loved it. And when Drake realized that he couldn't beat Kendrick in this way anymore, he ran to the courtroom. He filed a lawsuit against Universal Music Group and claimed that they were promoting Kendrick's track and pushing lyrics that damaged his reputation. Or in other words, he wanted the music group to boost his songs, which they clearly weren't interested in doing. And, well, UMG wasn't having it. They fired back immediately and called his claims baseless and embarrassing. Yikes, they pointed out the obvious, that this was hip-hop and not pop radio. Diss tracks would always get the most support. And let's not forget that Drake himself had dissed plenty of rappers in the past. But now that he was on the losing end, he wanted to change the rules? Well, that wasn't how it worked at all. The lawsuit did nothing but confirm one thing, and that was the fact that Drake was losing horribly. And now, if things weren't already messy enough, Kendrick pulled one of the pettiest and most savage moves in hip-hop beef history. He headlined the Super Bowl halftime show and used the biggest stage in entertainment to take a direct shot at Drake. I mean, in front of millions. Kendrick delivered a performance so jaw-dropping that the internet couldn't handle it. Lamar knew exactly what he was doing. During his performance, Kendrick decided to include Not Like Us, a song that painted Drake as someone who went after minors. The crowd went crazy and social media exploded, and suddenly this wasn't just a rap beef anymore. It was humiliation on another level. But the worst part? Serena Williams. Drake's ex and the woman he once idolized was right there on stage dancing as Kendrick ripped him apart. I mean, if people thought Not Like Us was bad before this took things to another level, it wasn't just a diss track anymore. It was the final nail in the coffin. And Drake? Well, he was silent. And you know that silence was loud. People started clowning him, saying he got humiliated on the world's biggest stage. Memes flooded the internet. Celebrities started reacting. And to make it even worse, the NFL didn't care for it at all, which basically meant Kendrick got away with possibly the most savage live diss in Super Bowl history. I mean, imagine being Drake right now. It's the worst, right? So where does that leave us? Well, Drake took a massive hit, but he's still a huge artist. On the other hand, Kendrick solidified himself as a rap god. Moral of the story? Be careful who you start a war with. Well, that's it for today, folks. Comment down and let us know who do you think won in the end. Until next time.